Greetings, Earthlings. I made a video about a month ago
Interrupting cow! I gotta get this up before this video continues, so shut the fuck up. Now, I'm now part of the Great P.
Wait a minute, that didn't come out right.
But yes, this face is now on Patreon. Now before you lynch me, hear me out. I'm not a big believer in hiding anything behind a paywall, and there's no way in hell YouTube is gonna want to pay for my potty mouth. But for $2 a month, you can help out this small channel. Plus, I'll gladly shout you out in the credits of videos going forward. My wife and I work like dogs, no pun intended, and I get to dedicate what little time I do have outside of work to making these videos. I've got a lot of ideas that I want to up the ante on my production value, so if you want to help out with that, the link will be in the description. The only thing that'll change going forward is how I approach making these videos and broadening horizons to what type of content gets made. Also, a couple buddies and I are going to be hitting up the face-to-face tour in Toronto, Ontario on July 19th. So if you're in the area, hit me up on Discord or in the comments of this video. You know, there is a face to this obnoxious voice, I promise, but maybe I'll reveal it one day. Probably not, but maybe. Anyway, bye.
Okay, is he gone?
Okay, great. So, today what I wanted to cover is what I would consider tempo in Commander games. What do I mean by that? Well, let's jump in and I'll explain it to you. So when I mention tempo, I'm mainly talking about the rate at which you can be impactful in a game of Commander. And by that, I don't mean when you can board wipe or when you can counter something or spot removal or whatever. I'm more so about when do we get to a point in the game where we can just run wild and let our deck do what it wants to do. For example, a ragavan deck or something like my ashnod Flesh Mechanist deck wants to be able to get to work as soon as possible. Being one-drop commanders, they can swing right out of the gates and never have to worry about being ramped into. The caveat with that is that they're very fragile due to just being tiny. So, of course, that's where your pricier commanders would be better. And, of course, you have what I would consider commanders that want everyone else to do the thing, like Nekusar or Sauron. My main point in this video, though, is challenging oneself to not only run slower strategies, but being patient in a game. I see a lot of games where people will cast instant speed removal at sorcery speed and then roll their eyes when someone casts something that would have been a better target before it gets back to their turn. We all make those kinds of plays in Commander because we zone in on the threat and want it gone immediately. But I think there's merit to waiting to see not only what else could happen first, but giving your opponents a chance to assess the threat before you take any actions. Of course, if you're next in turn priority, it is kind of up to you to respond, but that's besides the point. You can sometimes politic with other players that have priority after you to see if they want to remove it before you do anything. You can bluff it or whatever, however you want to approach it, but there are ways to kind of... That's the beauty of Commander, is being able to politic and being able to kind of level with other players. But that's a whole other video. Now, as I mentioned in my Voltron video, a lot of decks fall victim to how fast the game has become. By turn 5, you could already have had a assload of interaction, but where that can work to your benefit is, it's really hard to destroy your board if you don't really have one yet. Most players will overlook ramp and set up and try to deal with the immediate threats instead of looking forward. A 6 or 7 mana commander can be unassuming as you have to wait a few turns, but if all the gas is drained before you cast that beefy piece of cardboard, then everyone's kind of stuck sitting on their hands by that point. You can argue that they will try to kill you before that point, but 40 life is a lot. And if you run your own fair share of interaction, you can easily just draw, go, and perform your own threat assessment. My Guafa deck is a good example of that because it's very much a tax deck, but it likes to run things at flash speed, and it's very much a deck that asks for proper threat assessment. A lot of older, pricier mana cards have gotten power crept over time. Like, one would rather run Knight's Whisper than Sign in Blood, even though they cost the same, but that 1 mana difference is huge. I like how Infernal Grasp is better than Murder, etc, etc. But I do think that there is merit to running bigger and splashier spells in Commander still. It's a 4-player format that usually runs for a while in a casual setting, so if you still like running Return to Dust, then that's totally fine in my opinion. Like, I think a lot of decks who want big mana are pretty underrated. My Ojutai deck is one of my favorite decks for that reason, and when I see sea creature decks or someone manage to ramp out Hullbreaker Horror, it can get me pretty giddy. Because, you know, being able to get out something that big and splashy in a game that pretty much asks you to run like 2 and 3 drops all the time, it's a little hard to be mad at that, in my opinion. But, you know, what do you think? That is why I make these videos. What do you think? What type of deck speed do you prefer? Like, I personally like a variety because I do see the merit in both styles of play, but I definitely feel a lot more accomplished if I can manage with a big, splashy, slower deck. But, yeah. But aside from all that, You know, just like my alternative self said in the beginning of this game, video, words. I am on Patreon now, so if you want to go peep that, feel free. As I said, I don't want to hide anything behind a paywall. It's literally just to support the channel. If you like what I do that much, it's fine. But at the end of the day, join the Discord, chat with me in there, all that good stuff. Throw food at me. I don't know. Check out my music. But above all, wrap that like, tap that subscribe. Peace.